Hello everyone, again this is Arish Saridin and I'm gonna explain activity 2 in chapter 4, temperature and consumption of food and oxygen. Before I start explaining the lesson, I will ask you a question. How do you behave if your body needs more energy? I guess that your answer is that you'll consume more food and more oxygen. In this lesson, we will study the variation of consumption of food and oxygen as a function of the external temperature of two animals, the vole and the snake. Let's start by documents A and B, page 72. Let's compare the consumption of food by a vole at T equal 20 degrees Celsius and at T equal 5 degrees Celsius. We can see that the total consumption of food by a vole at T equal 20 degrees Celsius is 32.2 grams, which is less than the total consumption of food at T equal 5 degrees Celsius, which is 41.1 grams. Now, let's look at document B. We notice that the consumption of oxygen at an external temperature 20 degrees Celsius is less than that at an external temperature of 5 degrees Celsius. What can we conclude from this? We can conclude that when the external temperature drops, the vole increases its consumption of food and oxygen. Why is that? In order to maintain its internal temperature constant at 38 degrees. You know that the vole is a homeotherm, so it has a constant body temperature. So in order to maintain its constant body temperature at 38 degrees Celsius, the vole will increase its consumption of food and oxygen as the temperature drops. Okay, as the external temperature, the atmospheric temperature drops, so the vole will increase its consumption of food and oxygen. Now, let's pass to documents E, F, and G, page 73. Actually, this table summarizes documents E, F, and G, page 73. And note that here we are talking about a snake, okay? And the snake is a poikilotherm. It has a variable internal temperature. Its internal temperature varies with the variation of the external temperature. Let's see here. As the external temperature drops from 18 to 5 degrees Celsius, the internal temperature of the snake also drops from 18 to 5. And so does its consumption of oxygen and its consumption of food. Okay? So we can see that the consumption of oxygen decreases from 3.7 at 18 degrees Celsius to 1.1, and the consumption of food also decreases from 2 mice to 0 mice at a temperature of 5 degrees Celsius. So we can see that the internal temperature of the snake and its consumption of oxygen and food depend on the external temperature. Now, as a summary, let's distinguish between the behavior of a homeotherm and a poikilotherm when the external temperature drops. So when the external temperature drops, the homeotherm increases its consumption of oxygen as well as it increases its consumption of food. Why? In order to maintain constant body temperature. While the poikilotherm, also when the external temperature drops, it decreases its internal temperature, it decreases its consumption of oxygen and food in order to reduce the loss of energy.